Welcome back, Chooms. For today I prepared a list of new mods that I'm using in Cyberpunk 2077. We have a lot of gems today to check out, but if you are new to modding, make sure to check out my beginner's guide first before jumping into this. So let's begin. First and biggest mod on the list today is Dark Future Urban Survival gameplay, which adds survival elements into the game like hunger, thirst, nerve, energy, anxiety, addiction, and much more. And to be honest, I've been waiting for a mod like this for a long time, but it's finally here, so let's go through the biggest features. On your UI you will see the HUD for your basic needs like hunger, thirst, energy, and stress. This means you will have to go in your backpack and eat food, drink beverages to restore it. Also keep in mind that if your nerve goes down when you aim down the sights or just using any weapon, your hand is going to be shaking. Keep in mind that lower quality foods will, reset your thirst and hunger, but it will also be applying debuffs to you, like losing nerves or, well, losing that nerve more often than using high quality foods, so make sure to get better foods and beverages from time to time. When these values go down, you will get various penalties. For example, if you are thirsty, you will get slower stamina regen, jumping and sprinting consume more stamina, same for hunger where you get less HP back, and so on. On top of that, you will have to go to your apartment to sleep and de-stress by taking a shower or spending some time with your partner. Mod also adds addiction, meaning that if you consume too many drugs or alcohol, you will get debuffs. And you will also have to remove those addictions with new items you can buy in various stores like Adequate, Endotricine, Glitter, and much more. So check these ones out because they will be useful for your playthrough, especially if you're playing this and you're just starting a new gameplay. Cyberware will also influence this, where Second Heart, for example, saves you from a heart attack in case you lose all of the nerve. Yes, that can actually happen. You can also disable fast travel, put limits on how often you can call your vehicle and how many, and so much more, which you can play around with, in the mod settings, which I do recommend, visiting and checking out, because at the start, by default, your fast travel will be disabled, so make sure to turn it off if you don't want that specific thing, or maybe you want to have more or less thirst or hunger or stress. Well, you can change all of those values. This mod finally gives me a reason to visit, my food and beverages in my backpack, which have been standing there, I think, ever since the game came out. Definitely and highly recommended downloading this mod for a more grounded and realistic gameplay. Another mod I recommend checking out is the newly released revised backpack, which makes your inventory a lot more easily navigated by giving you a full list, while also keeping, item previews, category tabs, and so on. Easily favorite and search for the item you want, toggle quest and junk items, and much more. I mean, if you played Skyrim, you probably heard about Sky UI, which has a similar style to this one, so yeah, Cyberpunk 2077 received its own version of that mod. With the Dark Future Survival mod, I found combining it with this, makes it easier to navigate around foods and buffs I need to constantly use. Highly recommend getting a revised backpack, and big props to DJ Kovrik for actually making it. Next mod on the list is fixing economy in the game by adjusting buying and selling prices from vendors, because it makes it, much better so that you don't bankrupt yourself, buying some clothes, and actually selling items now will finally earn more money as traders will buy it for a higher price. This mod also influences quest rewards, bounty rewards, value of money you pick up on the ground from, enemies, and much more. I noticed while using this that now, it's a lot more worthwhile to visit traders or terminals to sell some stuff, as you're gonna be generating a lot more money, and, in general, just going and buying clothes early in the game before you get some good eddies will be nice, because now you're not gonna be broke all the time. Definitely check this one out. Next mod on the list returns skill checks as they were prior to update 2.0, which means that after 2.0, skill checks were dictated by player level, ultimately removing the handcrafted experience prior to it, where it was tailored for easier access to areas, and if your skill wasn't high enough, you simply couldn't go through it, making most of the builds, kinda different, You know, for example, if you're not strong enough, well, you have to find another way because you just cannot simply like rip open the doors. You know, that's it. Now, for a lot of people, this was problematic after 2.0, but with this mod, you can revert it to how it was before in case you don't like how it is done now. Big thanks to Astera for making the mod, because I was looking for something that will actually revert it, because I liked the previous ones a lot better. When it comes to apartment mods, we are getting more and more custom apartments lately that are very easy to mod into the game, being that this one is Archive XL. Keep in mind, before you had to download a lot of props which you will actually need to use in the game so that the actual theme, or well, what the mod author intended, actually changes. For example, in AMM you had to manually set it, but now it's a lot easier because, well, this just works. It changes your entire H10 apartment into a Rebel Path theme by adding new floors, items, changing its layouts, and overall just what you can find in that apartment. It features a bar on the right side as soon as you enter, and of course you will have much more compact but still accessible stash and other stuff you usually have in your H10 apartment, so it's not going to remove anything from it. I like this one a lot, so definitely recommend getting this in case you got tired of your old apartment themes. If you combine this with artistic mod from the Septius, you can get some nice artwork alongside of it as well, so definitely check this one out, and also check out the one from the Septius. Moving on to weapons now. First on the list is Jingubang from Wukong. It's a nice melee weapon. It can actually be very powerful with 25% armor penetration, 20% stun chance, and a lot of buffs like better crit chance, insane crit damage with increased attack speed, and it's actually not so heavy on stamina, so you will not be losing much. So if you're playing Wukong lately and you want to have the weapon in the game of, you know, Cyberpunk 2077, then check this one out. Next mod on the list adds laser to RC7 Aswang muzzle. So if you put it on your weapon, it will look something like this. Keep in mind that you can choose which color of the laser you want on the actual mod page, but I mean, it looks really nice during the night, especially if you're going for this sort of gameplay. Next mod on the list is a very useful intuitive projectile launcher system that makes it finally aim and shoot where I want it to go without, you know, moving in a random direction or in a direction I don't want this projectile to go. This means that you will now be able to play it with pinpoint accuracy and makes it much more viable for some builds I have been running lately. Oath and The Betrayal are new iconic versions of Nusa Achilles precision rifle that are really fun to use depending on your play style. The Oath is geared towards players who prefer precise headshots for maximum damage, while Betrayal is better because it deals, you know, better overall damage against multiple enemies on the move. Overall, I recommend getting this one if you want more weapons in the game and you got bored of the old ones. New version of the Malorian Arms pistol is now out as a mod. Malorian Arms Red is a 50 cal version of the gun, making it stop even the hardest enemies in Night City. And the mod author is not joking, this gun is extremely powerful and fun to use because it has 350% headshot damage multiplier and 100% armor penetration, so anything which you encounter on your path, well, you will go through it like butter. Next pistol mod on the list is Ebony and Ivory from Devil May Cry. Even though sadly we can't dual wield these, they are still fun to use as Ivory has faster fire rate and reload time while Ebony has better range and damage. Another amazing pistol on the list is the Big Bad Burya, which pretty much deletes anyone in front of you that you hit with explosive bullets as secondary when you charge it. To be honest, it's more of a cannon than anything, plus you can be very nimble when you use it, so if you're doing this playstyle, I recommend getting this, as it has 325% headshot damage multiplier and 75% armor penetration, only half a second charge time. For the end, when it comes to weapons, we have the Volk Tech AK from Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, in two versions, that being the regular and Goliath 1. Overall, I like how the weapon looks. It's better to fire it when you aim down the sights, as firing this from the hip makes the weapon recoil too high in my opinion, especially for an AK of, you know, like this specific AK, so maybe, you know, kind of tuning this down would be really nice. But overall, it's a solid weapon to check out if you were looking for something similar to this. In case you were wondering where to find each iconic weapon in the game but don't want to constantly search for tutorials and guides, well, this mod adds a window in your CyberEngine tweaks that tracks which iconic weapons you collected and how to collect them if you haven't already by telling you that in the description. Definitely a useful mod in case you want to find each iconic weapon without, you know, just adding it in the game through console, but you didn't know how to do it until now. Moving on to car mods, first on the list is the Honda NSX Type R NA1. Work on the chassis as well as the details on the vehicles are fantastic. It runs really well on the road and interior is highly detailed, so you are fully immersed when you drive this down Night City, so definitely recommend checking this one out. On the bike side we have another Ducati, this time it's the Panigale V4R. Quality of the bike is amazing, good sound, and driving around it was fun. Now, even though it's generally not that fast, it supplements it with great handling, so you won't have an issue taking sharper turns than you usually do on other bikes as you're navigating through the city. When it comes to classic cars, we also got the Mercedes-Benz V124500E. This is probably one of the most iconic Mercedes cars, and to be honest, in-game design and driving is just fantastic, to the point I started using this as my main vehicle, and I always appreciate if modders add some details in the trunk or in the car like we can see here. Definitely check this one out if you haven't already. If you want a more lore-friendly vehicle mod, then Variants of the Villefort Cortes is a mod for you, where it adds a few variations of the car, but it cleans it up from any decals, making it really cool to drive around Night City. It's not as fast, I mean, it performs like the original from the game, but just having more variants which are lore-friendly for people who want to go that way is always appreciated. Another lore-friendly car on the list is the modified Merrimac Warlock that makes it a lot more beefy, with first off changing the color, then adding new bumpers and a change to the interior of the vehicle, but keeping in mind that you can choose which version you want on the mod page itself. It's actually amazing to have this. Now, I covered the Ford Mustang Boss before, but there is a new add-on mod for it which makes it, you know, worth mentioning again because it's really good, and that's the Realistic Performance mod, where it makes the handling of the car more realistic in a sense, or well, more akin to the original real-life vehicle. Worth checking out if you already are using the car mod, but if you haven't tried it yet, I left both mods in the description since you will need both. Last vehicle mod on the list is the Audi R8 from 2020. Overall in the game it looks really good, as well as the interior itself. It's definitely on the faster side as acceleration and top speeds are very good. Handling wise it's surprisingly good, even though it goes to these speeds quite fast. I usually don't like when modded cars go insanely fast, but this one I think hits that sweet spot of not going over the top while it's still, you know, retaining how fast R8 is IRL. Next on the list is a small quality of life mod that adds commas to numerals, making it easier to read. That's it. In case you wanted commas, well, you can finally have them. Another quality of life mod is crafting component quantity fix, which makes you see how many components you have if it exceeds 999, meaning before you only saw it up until that number, but now you can see exactly how many you have in your inventory. A mod which is very useful for me because I really didn't like how it was done in the vanilla game, and that's junk mail flying around in the wind, which is usually low texture and is making some footage I take a bit too ugly, but this mod removes them, you know, just flying in the wind, so that's nice. This quality of life mod is specifically for Steam Deck or other handhelds, where it makes in-game text bigger, making it easier to read compared to the vanilla one, especially on smaller displays. So if you play the game there and you thought text was small, check this, you know, mod out. If you wanted more cyberware for your face, Cyberface Type 11 is amazing as it adds really high quality designs to your character for both male and female V. It has a few versions, so make sure to download the one which you want and only that one. If you want to change it, then simply remove that mod by deleting the files you added and just add new ones, that's it. When it comes to clothing and accessories, first on the list is Peltor Comtac tactical headset for both male and female V. If you were looking for high quality headsets in the game, then check this one out. And that headset can be combined really well with the Zenitex combat goggles for a full militaristic look. It adds 8 modules and 47 items for both Vs and all body mods. In case you always wanted the tank top that Claire has in the game, with this mod you can add it for your Fem V. It comes in 5 different colors to choose from. And for the end we have Jill Valentine outfit from Resident Evil. It's high quality as well as it looks really good if you combine it with other clothing accessories from Nexus. It's available for any Fem V body, so you won't have any problems getting this on your V. And these were all of the mods for this video, a lot of amazing gameplay stuff to check out. Now if you enjoyed this video, consider liking and subscribing for more, as well as let me know down below which mod you like the most and which ones you would like to have featured in my future videos. Check us out on Twitter and Discord, and as always, huge thanks to my current Patreon supporters. This is LKM signing out, and stay classy, Chooms. Bye.